Hey guys, it's me Chandrian. So today's video I'll covering for Vera Geiravor overview. So like usual in here I will cover like the best rank stopping point, positive and negative, should you pull or not, answering some Q&A, and yeah, of course I will explain the kit and how to play her in the simplified version. So yeah, it's like usual, let's get started. So let's start first with the positive of Vera Geiravor. The main selling point of her is that she is the Gen 3 of Fire Amplifier. So a similar case like Lilith in Dark, she is actually have quite similar in terms of kit, but instead this is on fire element. If you really want what actually the upgrade compared to Leaf Empire, first is that it's actually over you a better buff, literally 20% fire damage bonus at the base. You don't need to rank up, that's literally at the base. For Leaf you even need to go SS. No, this is only at S already like 20% fire damage buff, which is good. Also better base amplifier class buff, because right now it's become 20% each at only base S. You don't even need like SS again, so better in the baseline, it's already better. And also it's have a respectable damage. Finally, compared to Leaf Empire that we mostly not using anymore on field, we can use Vera Geiravor on field, even only one rotation, but at least her damage already respectable enough and worthy to use in a rotation. So yeah, that's pretty much all the upgrade from Leaf Empire itself, which is actually really good. And the next positive, she actually can become the temporary fire DPS. Assuming you don't have Lucia Pyro, then you can actually use Vera Geiravor as a temporary fire DPS in here while maybe pulling Lucia in the future. Especially right now we have selector, right? You can pull up to Chusukra, then you can take Watanabe in there and just pair with Vera. Then yeah, both of these can be a like temporary like fire team, which is actually not bad. Next, she will become part of the Darkflow meta team. Although right now we don't really have any content regarding Darkflow, but assuming they didn't change any meta, and of course Vera is still relatively new, quite not make sense if they don't use her. So yeah, in for the future when we have Darkflow content, then for sure she will become part of the Darkflow team in here. But again, this is subject to change because we don't really have any content regarding Darkflow yet. Next, we can also use Vera Geiravor in the Ignition team, just because right now she is the best amplifier in terms of fire element and Ignition, at least fire related, so that's the closest that we can use, which is Vera Geiravor. Similar case like Nanami Star Trail that we use on Plasma Beam. Next, she's actually work very well even with low investment. You don't actually really need weapon, especially the cup, you can just keep it and actually your Vera is still working really well. She's actually really low investment considering couple of our previous like character that quite demanding like Lucia Pyro, Selena, Pianissimo, they can't get SS with weapon. She is at the best if you only get like SS with no weapon, it's actually already good enough. And if you get SS weapon, that's already more than enough even. And last one, which is she's really easy to play, literally very easy to play, only even have one rotation, so you will not have any brain melt like Selena Pianissimo. This is just very straightforward. As for downside or negative, I don't think she has any major downsides, at least until right now I cannot even think any. But there's things I want to give notes or things that I kinda say like a little bit unfortunate, which is in Fire full meta team, it's kind of expensive. Considering other team, at least in their like components of their team, there's someone that free. Let's say like in physical, at least we have Alisa free. In ice is even crazy, both Ayla and Wanshi is free. In lightning right now you have two already free, like 21 and also like Alpha, so you only need to get like Nanami, something like that. But in fire, assuming you don't get the selector Watanabe, literally all of them you have to pull. Vera Geiravor you need to pull, Lucia Pyro you need to pull, and Watanabe you need to pull. So I will consider like fire team is relatively in the like what premium team. So because of that, it may be quite need high investment or like not really so free to play friendly with a team for you to start, because they kind of require to gacha. And what could make it worse is that Lucia Pyro would literally need SS with weapon or even SSG if you want the literally maximum potential. So yeah, the full meta fire team in fire can be quite expensive compared to other team. For the updated meta team, it will be Vera Geiravor as amplifier, main DPS is Lucia Pyro, and the tank is Watanabe Epithet. Okay, enough yup. And now in here the real deal. If you're still confused or maybe still in dilemma, should you pull Vera Geiravor? And here my recommendation. In general, Vera Geiravor will be worth for you to pull or very more significant for you to pull if first you are a meta player or in competitive. Then yeah, absolutely, I think that's no brainer. There's literally no need to ask why, because yeah, if you're a meta player competitive, you want to catch like whatever literally the latest character though, because if not, you will literally fall behind. And Vera Geiravor buff is actually really good. It actually will fall behind if you just stay with Leaf Empyrea. So you really need to get Vera Geiravor. Second, if you really want upgrade from Leaf Empyrea for whatever reason, you say you don't really like the gameplay, you feel outdated, then yes, she is actually a better upgrade from Leaf Empyrea and already justified enough for you to get her because the upgrade is actually good. And third, if you want a character that actually works very well even with the low investment, then Vera Geiravor will be one of it. Rarely right now we have a character that can work like with only low investment. But Vera Geiravor actually really over low investment because even the weapon is not like super a must that you have to get like as soon as possible. You can just maybe take it later, and even the cup not even that important. If you want to skip completely fine, you only lose small part of it though. So yeah, very low investment. And of course, if you care about Darkflow content, then even though we don't have Darkflow content right now, but once it get the Darkflow, then she will become part of the team in here. And lastly, of course, if you like character gameplay, feel free to pull for her. But other than that, if you're mostly just casual or even free to play that don't really actually care about competitive like PPC Warzone, and actually it's just really up to you for you to get Vera or just skip for her. Because in general, like if you want to just like use, even with the old teams, you can actually still clear it without any problem. So it's just like basically optional for you to get like Vera or not though. And now let's move into some Q&A, and let's start with the best rank stopping point of Vera Geiravor. So Vera Geiravor, the best rank stopping point, I think no questions, just typical another SS is the best rank stopping point. This is where she get quality of life, get more orb on your first ult, so it just make your rotation become more comfy, and also it provide you more damage. In general, that's a good stopping point. However, consider maybe you're a spender that still have leftover that you want to spend more for Vera, then SSG also still pretty much a good stopping point because it gives you even more fire damage bonus and give you Darkflow buff for another 10%. But again, that I only recommend if you are a spender. The next question is, her signature weapon is a must? I already mentioned before, no. Her weapon is basically optional. It can fully function without any signature, so you can take your own time to get it maybe later, so there's no rush. It actually just feels optional. It's still nice to have, but it's not urgently that you need it. Another thing, between SSG, weapon or cup, which one you should prioritize? For this case, it's a little bit hard for me to decide, but in general, I will say I will still lean towards signature weapon more, mostly because still you will get the access of harmonization and you can give her more like literally memory set, which is actually good. And also considering you can weapon resonance to add more buff to the team to improve also her on-field damage in general. So I think in general it's a good justification of her all the value to give her like her own damage and give team buff too. And lastly, considering you don't lose your 20% is actually pretty much cheaper compared to SS3. However, if you don't plan to use Vera Geiravor on field at all, especially, then SSG can be a better option just because it just gives you more fire buff in general, which is more significant than getting just weapon. Because weapon is kinda like combination for give team buff and her own personal damage, but SSG is just pure to buff like the team though. So if you just care like about her buff and don't care about Vera on field and mostly focus maybe on Lucia and Watanabe, then SSG can be a better option in here. As for the cup, is very least priority. Basically it's very optional. If you don't get it, you actually still very fine. So that's actually the least priority among weapon and SSG. So if I want to make in short, like prioritize first to get for me signature weapon. SSG can be better if you just care about her buff and don't want to use Vera on field, but cup is literally the least among all of these two. And now let's talk for Vera Geiravor Kit overview. So let's just start. I'll just show you all the basic attack in here. So that's basic attack. Now we'll talk about her base form. So basically when you enter her base form, the only pink orb that available is blue orb. So in here you can just like double tap blue orb or just single tap blue orb, and you can see above the blue orb there's the accumulation of yellow orb. So basically this yellow orb later will be useful when you enter her first ultimate. This is basically will carry forward on her first ultimate. Quite similar case where Lilith, if you pink orb like blue orb, it will carry forward like when you enter the ultimate. So basically same. Other than that, this pink orb only mostly useful for you to just get more energy to move to the first ultimate as soon as possible. Other than that, you can just hold basic attack in here and just let the bar charge until full, and then she will perform this plunge attack. And when you already get enough energy and your first ultimate available, you can just press that. And when she entered her first ultimate, a little bit small detail, she basically burned her own HP, literally sacrificing herself. Badass healer though. So when you already enter the first ultimate, the only main objective that you need to do is that just tap the red orb until you see the bar, the rate gauge below, until full. After that, you just need to hold basic attack until it consumes all the red bar gauge until the end. And then when you already see the ultimate available, just tap that signature move. And after that, she will summon this field. Basically, it will kill the party over a period of time. And also, there's one more thing that you can do, which is parry. So when the enemy is about to hit you, you can just hold dodge in here and she can just parry. You can perform parry in here in both form, like base form or even first ultimate. You can do that. So this is not really useful in meta rotation, but can be useful for the fun run. And lastly, whenever you heal or even trigger Kitty, she will provide fire damage buff. So yeah, that's pretty much all Vera Geiravor Kit offers you, and now let's do a recap and how to play her in the simplified version. Take notes like usual if you really want a whole, full, complete detail, the whole meta rotation in Fireteam, then I always recommend to check like other dedicated content creator regarding meta like Spire 2P. So how to play Vera Geiravor in the simplified version, the rotation will be whenever you switch to Vera, double tap blue orb, and after that you hold basic attack and perform the plunge attack. After that, the first ultimate supposed to be available, just press that. When you enter the first ultimate, tap the red orb until the red gauge below is full and just hold basic attack until she finish it, and when the ultimate already available, just press that. After that, ping blue orb and just switch to another character. Yeah, that's pretty much all her standard rotation. It can work from any type of ranks. Even with weapon and without weapon, it's just pretty much the same. That's why I already say her rotation is very simple. However, if you're already triple S, you basically don't need to hold basic attack anymore on the basic form. You can just basically do this rotation. So basically when you switch to Vera, you can just tap blue orb until her first ultimate available and just press that. Basically the rest of the rotation is just the same. Just ping red orb until the red gauge is full, hold basic attack until the second ultimate available and just press that, and after that tap blue orb and just switch to another character. And regarding her Darkflow, why didn't I explain in the base kit? Because it's just very simple though. How to trigger and her rotation, I will just compile in here at one. So basically when you enter the battle, the whole rotation is just the same. Just double tap blue orb, and the first ultimate available, the different thing here, you just hold it and it will trigger the Darkflow, and just do the same rotation again. Tap red orb until the red gauge is full, hold basic attack and end with a signature move. That's basically the same. The difference is only holding the first ultimate. And now let's talk about the build of Vera Geiravor. For memory set, the general build will be 4 pieces of Da Vinci and 2 pieces of Guinevere. For Guinevere location will be 1 and 3. Harmonize is 2 pieces of Enstena. As for the resonance, stop any attack, bottom is class kill. Another build is DPS Vera. This one you use mostly if you don't have Lucia Pyroot or you want to use like PPC solo run with Vera Geiravor. Then the build will be 4 pieces of Hervor and 2 pieces of Cory. Cory location is 1 and 3, and Harmonize is another 2 pieces of Cory. So in short is 4 pieces of Hervor and 4 pieces of Cory. Resonance, stop any attack, bottom is signature move. And lastly, this is if you have Vera Geiravor Triple S, and this is the alternative build that you can go. So this one will be another 4 pieces of Hervor and 2 pieces of Shakespeare. As for the location of Shakespeare is 1 and 3. Harmonize option you have 2 pieces of Shakespeare or Enstena. Maybe if you don't want to get like overstack with another 4 pieces of Shakespeare from Watanabe, then you can still consider to go with Enstena though. So that's why the consideration I put in here. As for resonance, stop any attack, and bottom is signature move. As for hypertune, prioritize first bottom row. If you don't have any resource, then top will be optional, but if you have resource, then you can go afterwards. As for the weapon resonance priority, it will be Glorious Spear and Superconducting Exile Ray, and last one is Incandescence. So that's pretty much it regarding Vera Geiravor overview. So overall in terms of kit, she's pretty much quite simple. In terms of like pulling value, it just very depends on you. If you really care about meta, competitive, or want like Leaf Empire upgrade, or even care about Darkflow content, then sure she can be a very good pull value for you. However, if you just literally very chill casual player and want to just clear endgame content, then it's just really up to you want to pull her or not. But personally for me, because I'm so biased, Vera is my favorite character. I'll 100% pull for her. And yeah, pretty much that's it. If you like this video, feel free to hit subscribe button, like, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.